explosive, touches 10-7.
She is their premier outside hitter, who's top 50 in the country, by the way, in terms of those kills per set numbers. There's Steve to go, and it's been, Kelly, a most unusual, unique season. The longtime 12-year now former head coach Joseph Foreman, he resigned on Monday due to what he later described as family reasons and a medical emergency in his home country of Hungary. So more on that as the match unfolds. But it is a new era for Coastal, and they get this thing started with a point.
Reve going to the off-speed tip look. We'll see her have an absolute cannon of arms. She will swing with so much power today.
Coastal team, yes, the record says they're 5-6. Kelly, they have very much challenged themselves, to say the least.
Yeah, Murderers Row, 6 Power 5 teams on their preseason schedule.
Big swing by Agata Leshak. And Coastal takes the 2-0 advantage. That one did look like it just caught the floor after the tip. On the other side, there is Mike Shaw. He is in his first season as the head man. He took over for Joe Segula, we mentioned, who was here for 33 years, the Hall of Famer, a legend in the community, of course, not just in Chapel Hill, but in the volleyball world as well. So Shaw, a first-year head coach, has his team off to a 5-3 start.
See there, Lauren Malone, the jump topspin serve, just a little bit long, but that's a lethal serve. You'll see her serve it that way, as well as Shaftmaster right here for UNC. This is a possible big scoring run that UNC could go on with her at the service line.
Now watch this. That one is a little long and it floats wide.
Something to watch for, though, later in this match, if either of them go on a scoring run at the line. Because you don't see that jump topspin serve too much in college volleyball.
And North Carolina has done a good job of putting pressure on its opponents from that service line. Here's Imani Foster, had an excellent match on Friday. 19 kills from the back row.
Net violation.
Yep.
Looks like on Jalen Stout. The unforced errors for both of these teams going to be something to watch. It's definitely something set 2 North Carolina struggled with against Santa Clara on Friday night.
That was the lone set that it dropped. It was a 4-set win against an 8-2 Santa Clara team. Here's another look for Foster. Big swing. Malone digs it out. And the block from Dilara Unal helps Coastal double up the home team.
And great awareness, too, by Unal on the overpass. Foster thought she was just going to have an easy swing down for the point. Not so fast. That's Unal.
6'4", staring right at you. Your first season here at Conway. That duo in the middle for Coastal is going to be a heavy dose of Unal and then Valentina Varani as well.
And a lot of it will be based on who's setting.
Shaftmaster finds the back.
Shaftmaster, she can score from all over the court. And that backcourt attack has become such a weapon for the Tar Heels. They'll even go to it in system. That time out of system, but only one blocker up, easy point.
Something you were discussing with Mike a couple of days ago, and Shaftmaster very effective at doing that. Lewis, the first to touch, big swing, and there's Stout, the aforementioned dynamic force.
And UNC going to have to keep in mind, Jalen Stout, lefty, she'll give you a different look, and she loves that line shot. So as a blocker, you got to close all the way to the net.
Just a freshman, one of a dozen newcomers on this roster. So 12 out of 17 on the roster this year for Coastal are brand new.
That's what's so impressive about how they've navigated this preseason with the coaching transition, because there are so many new faces, and they've had to be so resilient with the schedule and then obviously the coaching transition in the last week.
Foreman, arguably the best coach in program history. He has not been with the team since mid-August. Has been back home, as we mentioned, dealing with the family issues. That one finds the floor, and so Sadie Swift has things knotted up at 5.
Good to see the Tar Heels getting their middles involved. Sadie Swift on that swing, the solo one-on-one block, which you'll see a lot in the middle. We saw Sydney Nolan, the freshman, getting the start today.
Nolan with the secret weapon a couple of nights ago.
Unbelievable. First action of the season, she had 8 kills, hit over 500. So she's certainly a weapon that's going to have to be a factor now in opposing scouting reports.
Yeah, talk about a good first impression. Coastal to serve, though. with a 1-point early advantage. It played Duke on Friday. Overwhelmed. That's a good Duke team. They lost in 3 sets. And hoping for a bounce-back performance today. Up to Schaffmaster. Coastal handles it. That's Chala Bengi who set that one to Stout, and the block is strong.
Big-time block by Schaffmaster and Sadie Swift teaming up on the outside, doing a fantastic job. Watch on this swing. They close to the net and able to shoot those hands across to turn back Stout.
Had 10 blocks in that win on Friday.
Schaffmaster, that's an aspect of her game she's really worked on improving, is defensively at the net.
Back to Stout. Bengi up high to Lauren Malone.
Hit the antenna though.
Yep, so that's going to be a point for North Carolina. You can see it shaking, reverberating. If you hit that antenna, it's out. So Swift to serve. Second year from Austin has taken a big step forward. Knotted up at 7 after the error.
And you're going to see, UNC, they will make some serving errors because head coach Mike Shaw wants them to be more aggressive at the serving line. He wants them to serve with more pace. That's something they've really worked on.
Anita Babick sets it high, up to Schaffmaster. Leshak. Didn't have much of an angle that time. There's the whistle, and you have another violation that gives Coastal the point.
Back row attack and Monty Foster, part of her foot hit that 10-foot line, and you can't do that.
So Stout to serve again. Let's see what Babick has here. She was running the offense on Friday and to near perfection. Surfs it up in a perfect spot for Foster.
Love the decision by Anita Babick going right back to Foster, that back row attack. Hey, it didn't work the first time, let's go back to it. That time taking a big rip on that big set.
Foster brought some heat like that a couple of days ago.
I'd love to get a radar gun on her swing.
Exit velocity?
High.
The block leads to another point for UNC.
Nice job finding the hands. Tar Heels on mini run right now.
North Carolina, Coastal had 2 or 3 point advantage just after the start of this one. UNC started to regain its footing. Babick up to Schaffmaster. Stout finds Lewis. Thurman blocked. Babick finds the middle. Nolan misfires a little wide. So that was the freshman. Her first swing. Good idea. Just couldn't.
Just got to get the placement down again. Cindy Nolan, this is her second start of the season. Only the second match she's even played. So still figuring out the placement.
Freshman that this coaching staff is very high on.
Tough serve.
That was Malone who put some pressure on UNC there. They've got an opportunity. Back set to Thurman, and she hit the net.
And it looks like actually Bonet was into the net.
It was Coastal.
Yeah. Nice job. Thurman coming with some power on that cross-court swing.
Well, it's going to be the heavy dose of Schaffmaster and Foster from the outside, maybe on that opposite side. Can Thurman be the person for UNC? Hey, there's that serve again.
Jump topspin serve. So this is a different look than the float serve you see. Comes in, ton of pace, spinning, and then it dives like you're having a plane crash, basically, at the end.
But it is difficult to handle. Leshak. Yeah, bounces that one off the block for a point.
Leshak doing a really nice job finding the seam between those hands, punching it through. She just very heady player, a lot of smart shots. Knows exactly what to do against that block.
Coastal's pretty balanced offensively.
Yeah, 4 players with 200+ kills already this season.
Oh, Foster goes up high to drill that one down.
Foster so hard to dig this because she plays so high above the block, or in that case, giant hole in the block, just going through it.
Did you find her touch height, by the way?
10-7.
What, close to, yeah. Goodness gracious. That one floats long, back to a 1-point game. Foster's the addition.
Tar Heels needed.
Yeah, especially on the outside to give some depth there behind Schaffmaster. 3 years at Charlotte, 3-time All-Conference. I mean, she was the headliner there.
Go-to player, led the team in kills at Charlotte. She went off for a career-high 24 kills last year against UNC. So Coach Shaw's like, we got to get her.
He saw the scouting report firsthand. North Carolina back ahead by 2.
Number 23, the freshman, Romani Thurman, someone else to watch up and coming for this Tar Heel squad. From the right side with that lefty swing. She brings some power as well.
So Mike, we mentioned how Mike has used the term, we're taking it day by day, work in progress. You can understand why. We've already mentioned a couple of first-year heels in the rotation this year.
Nice dig.
Oh, that's excellent work that time by Meyerhofer. And then Stout with a response on this end. Babbitt behind her, the slide. Malone doing some excellent work digging.
She's all over the place.
The coastal side.
Yeah.
Oh, handles that from Schaffmaster. This one's high to Stout. And Coastal comes away with the point, and you could spotlight the defensive work.
On both sides.
Yep.
Lauren Malone, though, doing work right now in that back row. She's had a couple of really impressive ups. Number 44 for Coastal.
Well, she's the outside hitter, but she's got the best serve-receive percentage on that team. All right, so how does Coastal respond here?
A little off speed.
Babbitt to Swift, got it.
Oh, smart shot and placement. Sadie Swift, the middle looked totally faked out. That block going to the left. Watch this, reestablishing the middles and just going double blocks up. She just goes to the left and around, finds the hole in the defense.
So Swift with a pair of kills in the first set. Okay, Coastal had to bump it over there. Schaffmaster rises, yes.
Schaffmaster, great job.
Reconstructed Coastal Carolina coaching staff. Steve Loswick right in the middle. He is the 6-year beach volleyball head coach at CCU, named the interim on Wednesday, and flanking him for the first portion of this season, the co-acting coaches, if you will, Susan Clements and Bernardo Pacheco, have done a wonderful job managing this unique, unusual situation that features Joseph Foreman having to resign, family reasons, medical emergency back in his home country of Hungary. So just credit to this staff for keeping things intact and in place to start the year. And we wish Coach Foreman and his family the best. Unfortunate scenario has played out. North Carolina with the first point here after the timeout. Foreman rejected.
Nice job, Coastal, getting a double block up against that back row attack, which North Carolina has gone to quite a bit in this first set. Also doing a nice job of getting the Tar Heels out of system here early.
That's it, Foreman, Foster, particularly from that back row. Coastal has been very competitive in its matches against power conference opponents. And that one is still alive. Bengi up to Malone. Tried to cut it. And North Carolina gets the point.
Off-speed look from Malone allowed Sadie Swift to make that adjustment with her hand. Last second, just clip that ball, turn it back.
Malone, one of the veterans on this roster. She's been here a couple of years. The redshirt junior. That one lands wide.
5th service error right now for UNC. Service line, they're one of the best in the ACC, 3rd in the conference service aces. So something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, wow, 5 errors. They only average about 2 service errors a set. And so that has helped Coastal remain in this one. The slide is blocked. Malone is off to a fine start defensively.
Up by number 44 for Coastal, Lauren Malone. She's 5'10". Look at how high she gets up. Shoots those hands over. The slide play super hard to track as a blocker. Great job by Malone mirroring Kaya Merkler.
That seemed perfectly timed.
It's excellent.
Babbitt now, they go right back to that sequence. This time it's the dependable one, the vet, Kaya Merkler, and the senior converts her first kill of the afternoon.
Great decision, too, by Anita Babbitt, going right back to that slide play has worked the second time that she's reset people.
Babbitt serves it. Bit of an overpass, yeah, and North Carolina converts. That's Schaffmaster.
Really great awareness by the Tar Heels Schaffmaster, because UNC's so good at the service line. That front row has to be very aware. They have a lot of point scoring opportunities off of those overpasses.
Mentioned the awareness. It's a timeout here with North Carolina ahead by 4. They seem pretty sharp and, you know, off to a good start here. So, Kelly, to go back to what we were talking about just a couple of moments ago, Joseph Foreman, arguably the best coach in program history. He's guided this program to 4 NCAA tournaments. They're always at the top of the Sun Belt, previously the Big South. So here was his explanation. We mentioned that he resigned officially Monday, has been back in Hungary,
and he was
helping
zooming
his family since August. Yeah,
he was zooming with the team during the preseason and the coaches, just to get the game plan going for certain matches. But his parents, a medical situation he had to address, and then the tough decision to have to resign.
Yeah, he says most difficult decision in my life to leave Coastal. However, after thinking about the best interests of the players, team, university, he is going to step down. The university has mentioned that Loswick is going to be the interim for the rest of the year. They're going to launch the full-scale search, if you will, at the end of the season. Loswick, of course, very familiar, 6 years as the beach volleyball head coach.
And important, too, because Susan Clements and Ronaldo Pacheco, first-year assistant coaches in Coastal Carolina. So they did have the whole summer to get to know and build relationships with these players. But to bring in Steve Loswick, who's very familiar with how things are done, Coastal Carolina, it's been a pretty smooth transition so far.
Well, you look at the bottom line, too. He's one of the winningest active head coaches on the beach volleyball circuit in the country. So always a prominent program on the sand in Conway. Nice attack there to get this back to a 3-point set.
Leshak taking advantage, had a one-on-one block, easy decision to go down that line.
And again, worth saluting what Clements and Pacheco have done.
Admirable.
Well. Yeah, co-acting coaches basically the first 10 matches. Merkler, vicious swing and finds the back corner.
Merkler, she's come in off the bench. This is the first match she hasn't started in her career. Comes off that 31 gap set, showing off a little power on that one-on-one block.
How valuable is that to have the senior coming off the bench in the middle? Schaffmaster into the net. You referenced it though, Mike Shaw. Didn't he say that? Hey, I want to see more service errors. Meaning,
he does.
Let's see some aggression.
Because when you're having service errors, it means you're serving aggressively.
Yeah.
He wants more pace on that ball. He wants to get other side out of system.
Busted sequence there. Thurman still swings and sets it away. Leshak, nothing doing there. Foster. Oh, it falls in just before the back line.
Just a lucky break by Coastal Carolina, because again, that overpass, that high heat dig right here, and it just sneaks inside that end line. Schaffmaster can't quite get to it.
Sydney Lewis didn't have any kills this season, not for long. There's the first one in a sense. Freshman from Florida. Reve, who's been neutralized at times in this first set, she's calling for it. Stout instead, back set to Leshak. What does UNC have here? Oh, it's a block. Dilara Unal, the native of Ankara, Turkey, with the rejection.
Great job, Unal. Heads up. All sorts of chaos going on UNC side. We had players colliding, trying to get it going in transition. Unal ready and up with that block.
So Coastal has scored 6 of the last 7 points. They're back within 2.
Coastal's doing a really nice job getting UNC out of system.
What's been the biggest key there?
The serve. Tough serving.
There is a blast from the middle. Swift again with her 3rd kill.
And you will notice on this serve from Coastal, a lot of times they are targeting number 9 in blue, Mabry Schaffmaster. That time passing the ball really well. UNC in system, easy point.
That one's long.
So service errors right now, too, for the Tar Heels.
Now, is it 6 now? That is 6 service errors. And hey, I think if there's one thing, as we mentioned, that Mike Shaw can live with, it's that. Foster is going to be quite a force, perhaps, in the ACC this year.
Foster, you got to get a double block up against her. That power arm, so tough to dig it because she's bringing the high heat.
We've seen that story before, right? You mentioned it, the 24 kills, career high, when she was at Charlotte against UNC. And hey, we've got a spot for you if interested at any point. She transferred in ahead of this season. Coastal handles the slide. Great effort. The dive there by Zoe Barron to keep it alive. Malone with the kill.
And Malone, just huge improvement this year. That time going against the double block, teeing off down the line. You also notice UNC has inserted Zoe Barron, although she just subbed back out for Foster. She brings great defense.
That's Malone's first kill, but she has 4 digs and a block in this first set.
She's doing everything defensively. We heard about this scrappy defense. This is Coastal Carolina spending a lot of time working on that defense all week. And Malone, epitome of it in the back row.
And right after Coastal has climbed back to within 1, UNC calls the timeout. So it's a 1-point first set inside Carmichael Arena. All right, so remember, on Tuesday, we will debut our documentary about the unbeaten, unblemished 99 Florida State football team led by that man. There he is, Bobby Bowden. They started the year #1, ended the year #1. It's going to be an excellent 1-hour special.
Can't wait to watch that.
Tuesday, 7 Eastern, also on the app.
Bobby Bowden, I've had a chance to meet him. Just one of the really great, not only coaches, but people.
Yep.
People in college football. Such amazing warmth the first time you meet him. Really, really incredible person. So
if you look back at that season, again, they started the year #1, went unblemished, won the national championship. And if anybody has any disputes, remember that was before a playoff. Look, they beat #3 Florida to end the season, and then beat #2 in the nation, Virginia Tech, and Michael Vick to claim that national title. Look, you beat 2 and 3 plus a bevy of other ranked teams. I mean, that's one of the best teams of all time for sure. Mac Brown's Tar Heels remain unbeaten as well.
Impressive. Mac Brown, another one of those really good, super nice coaches out there.
Well, they just defeated
Minnesota.
A little moisture on the court, wiped up Minnesota, or excuse me, North Carolina beat Minnesota yesterday. Dilara Unal, the Turk, ready to serve it away. Schaffmaster times that one. Looked like Unal was able to dig it out from the back row.
3 ball though for UNC.
Yeah, big one. Babick, where does she want to go? Schaffmaster rises. That one lands wide, and so North Carolina is a point away from the first.
Going to her go-to player, Mabry Schaffmaster, who loves that cross-court shot, the power, hard to dig. Able to dig it, but ends up out of bounds for Coastal Carolina.
Set point. Lewis up high to Malone, blocked. Merkler. One more chance for Coastal. Can they keep this one alive? It hit the antenna, but after the deflection.
On the block part of it, after it was already over. Really impressed with the Chanticleer's fight so far.
This team, how it was constructed preseason, expected to be one of the top teams in the Sun Belt based on the preseason coaches poll. Foster finds the floor, and set 1 is in the book. She goes off speed to close it out.
Heady shot by Foster. She's brought all the so. hate to see my former conference dissolve.
Sure. Well, and the ACC obviously has the leadership to, of course, iron out all those details. Set number 2 underway. Leshak with a kill. That was a bullet. Cross-court kill for the native of Warsaw, Poland.
Leshak, she's been one of the go-to factors today for Coastal Carolina. Just extremely smart in her shot making. That time going with a little power on.
Well, she's taken 10 swings. She's got 3 kills. And that's exactly what we were outlining earlier. Coastal. It's a bit more balanced, if you will, or there are more players that will take more swings in the flow of the offense.
No doubt, and important too for Leshak because Jalen Stout was ill and is just working her way back, recovering from that. So her numbers have been a little bit down for this Coastal Carolina squad. 3rd
year in Conway, it's been her most effective season. North Carolina awarded the point. That one dropped just wide of the line. Really right idea. Leshak clearly just trying to tip it over inside that block. Just a little bit out of bounds. So North Carolina claimed the first set 25-23. It was pretty competitive, especially in the late goings. Leshak again off the block. If it's working, just keep going back to it. Leshak's able to score in so many different ways. Subbing out though now as Chala Bengi comes in, one of the 2 setters. Yep. She certainly asserted herself of late, trying to become the primary setter. She and Stout essentially share those duties. This has been Babbitt's show today as well, and she finds the freshman Thurman for the kill. Thurman, just that lethal cross-court shot and really working with the freshman who has a very mature game already, just to continue to develop that deep toolbox of shots. Back set to Reve. Point, Coastal Carolina. That one looked like it was touched by UNC. Yeah, just down the line. Stays inbounds. 4 Coastal players have taken 5 or more swings. Babbitt to Thurman, right back to the freshman. And all started with the pass of Mabry Schaffmaster right to target and her setter. And then great job of Babbitt, just that back set to the freshman. Big approach, one-on-one block going right through it. Seems like they've righted a lot of those shaky mistakes last weekend on the serve receive. There was 2 losses in Michigan to the Wolverines and then Michigan State last weekend in that ACC Big Ten Challenge. Yeah, Lauren Malone again. It's been a heavy dose at times of Malone. It's been effective. Coastal doing a nice job in set number 2 right now, really finding the hands of UNC's blockers. We've seen Malone and Leshak do that with success. Well, they've got 4 kills on 6 swings and just the 1 error, so it's a sharp start for the Chanticleers. Swift might not have timed that one correctly. Babbitt going right back to her, so let's try it again, and it works. It works. It's that second time that all these players for UNC are getting set, that they're finding success. And definitely on that first time, mistimed her jump, Sadie Swift going right back to her, putting it away that time. If you're Swift, I mean, all that does is strengthen your trust with your setter then. Absolutely. Especially, too, keep in mind, UNC, there's times they've been in a 6-2 offense because of illness and Babbitt being out. So now you're back in a 5-1 offense. You have that continuity with your setter, that chemistry you're really developing. How has Babbitt looked early on in this match? Good. She's doing a nice job when the digs and that first ball is to target. She's setting up her hitters for success. Coastal with the latest point. Foster, back row, another. That back row attack can really become a weapon for UNC this year, and doing it in system. That's a trend we're seeing a lot in college volleyball. We see it in the men's game, but it's really starting to be pervasive in the women's game as well. What's caused that? Because that's something you were talking about earlier this week. You're seeing it more. It's a nice block that time by UNC. Massive block by Babbitt and Merkler teaming up to deny Coastal Carolina.
great job closing all the way to the antenna and taking away that cross-court shot from Leshak.
4 blocks aside. 1-point set.
And it's just been back and forth. Coastal Carolina, keep in mind too, this is their 3rd match of the week.
Yep. Yeah, beat UNC Wilmington Tuesday. Schaffmaster blocked. Hit the antenna, though, on that ricochet.
It's a really nice job, recognition by that Coastal block. And Coastal right now really making Schaffmaster do a lot of work, serving and targeting her. Lauren Malone was. And then, so she's not only passing first ball contact, then she's getting up and going right back and taking big swings.
Senator has worked really hard at that serve receive. Schaffmaster's like a lot of these players, proverbial gym rat. We like to use that phrase.
She was in the gym at 6:30 the other morning is what Coach Shaw told us.
That's not an unusual sight, it sounds like. There's Reve. She's been a little quiet. That's their top attacker. Yeah, that one found enough space in that back row.
Just a great job, Schaffmaster. You put up a high set to her because you're out of system and still able to make something of a completely broken play over the top of the double block and just sneaks it inside that end line.
So she's now hitting .333. Boy, look at the hit percentage for North Carolina, bolstered by a fine start here in the second.
A lot of it's because UNC's been in system on that first ball contact. We didn't see that a ton in the first set.
Reve had to try to shove it. Point, North Carolina.
And tough, not a lot of options there for Reve, not a great set. And so she just has to punch it over.
Seems like we're still waiting for that real big firecracker, as Susan Clements, the assistant, likes to call it, from Reve, at least in this match. She's got a couple of kills on 7 swings. Maybe not the most cleanest at times. That's an error, and it leads to a Coastal point.
Just a little bit of miscommunication between setter and hitter there. Merkler thought that Babic was maybe going to come with a little bit different set, a little different pace on that ball. Mistimed her jump.
Important one for both teams. Coastal trying to bounce back from the loss Friday. UNC trying to make it a 2-0 weekend. Malone's going to have to just send this one over. Babic, Thurman, denied.
What a front. Coastal's block, who's been very active so far in this match, had 4 blocks in that first set. And good read by Reve on the outside, shooting those hands over, turning back the freshman Rolani Thurman.
So that's now 6 total blocks for Coastal.
Really took out our line judge there.
Look out.
He bounced up real quick.
Our line judges, we've got John Dar and Jake Patrick.
It's got to be scary coming at you with a lot of heat. Speaking of
Imagine that one, yeah, coming your way. I would get the heck out of there. Babic gives Coastal a 3 ball. Yes. So Reve off the block. Watches that one trickle down to the floor.
Really great decision by Reve because she's got that fast power arm. That block goes up. And she completely just takes a little bit of speed off of her swing, catches the block, the timing off, able to just thread it through.
Second season now, or make it 3rd. At Coastal. She's from Canada. She transferred from a really good Canadian university. Point, North Carolina. Really
great decision, Anita Babic. She's in the front row, dumping that ball over. You have to pick and choose your spots as a setter when you're going to try and catch that opposing defense sleeping. Perfectly timed.
The sophomore from Phoenix doesn't do that often. That's just her 8th kill. But it's all about the timing, as you pointed out. it's been very competitive, these 2 sets. North Carolina has just been keeping Coastal at arm's length for much of this. Back to a 1-point set now after the Reve kill.
Love that decision by Coastal, the back set quick on the right side to Foster. Easy point, block, not up.
Babic up high to Thurman, spikes it down.
Pretty much the same thing for UNC. That block hasn't closed because the timing and the speed of that set to the pin, so fast. Great pass by Schaffmaster, and one-on-one block against Malone, just going right around the outside. She hadn't close to the antenna.
They have been very quick on their swings, both Foster and Thurman. They each have 5 kills. The first-year heels from the back row, and Reve finds the weakness in the D.
Reve just really smart shot making right now. That off-speed looks, we saw it from the left side, and now back row. Floats it on over, completely finds the hole in that defense.
That's Maddie May, the second-year starter at libero for UNC. More responsibilities this year. Couldn't quite get to that one. For Coastal on the other side, Sydney Lewis back at the libero position.
Freshman.
Yeah, have been dealing with an illness.
Yes,
and
in and out. She caught the illness that Jalen Stout had.
Schaffmaster working overtime there.
Schaffmaster does a little bit of everything.
You can invoice somebody for the additional services there, yeah. Here's Swift.
And if I'm Coastal Carolina, I'm going to target somebody other than Mabry Schaffmaster because she's passing the ball really well right now. And UNC able to be in the system as a result. It worked in the first set, not so much in the second set.
Oh, Malone.
Those roll shots, it's been working for Coastal Carolina. Catching that block off guard and finding the big campfire middle of that defense.
There's that discrepancy in the hit percentage. You know, just going back to the point you referenced, only 1 serve receive error for UNC. Schaffmaster's swing handled. Free ball. Back to the all-ACC stud, and she buries it.
You just put up a high set to Schaffmaster even when you're out of system, and she is going to terminate 9 times out of 10. UNC racing after the 2-point lead here, set 2.
Carolina, a little more balanced. 4 players with 200 or more swings. That's a nice distribution. Meanwhile, though, for North Carolina, you're going to get a heavy dose of Mabry Schaffmaster, 2-time all-conference performer, and the transfer who's been excellent, Amani Foster. And there you go. They've had a lot of swings and a lot of kills.
A lot of pin production for UNC.
They have formed a very reliable duo in their first year together. Foster, coming over from Charlotte, was an all-conference performer there. UNC back ahead by 3.
Foster, her addition takes some of the pressure off of Schaffmaster to have to be that go-to player all the time.
Schaffmaster, I mean, she usually gets every team's best. Wow, excellent dig by Lewis. So that keeps it alive. It's a chance for UNC. Merkler blocked, but it was ricocheted into the pin. And so the Tar Heels take their largest advantage of this second set.
UNC, a lot of discombobulation on that rally, but watch the off the free ball, UNC taking advantage.
Schaffmaster in the sequence prior just swatting at the volleyball to keep that rally alive. Leshak neutralized. Here's a chance for the shot to clears. Oh, nice work that time by Meyerhofer in the back row. And the kill.
Nina Babic, she 3 kills already in this match. Opportune time. I don't think she drew it up like that, but certainly can take the swings. goes up with it, realizes Shaftmaster setting to her. Okay, I'm just gonna go terminate.
The ultimate role reversal there.
Tar Heels, though, they've done a really nice job. Coastal Carolina had success against Duke with the cross-court shot, and Tar Heels have done a really nice job taking that shot away. They're digging every ball cross-court.
And so now, Kelly, the 4-0 scoring run has helped the Heels take its largest advantage of either set. They have the 5-point cushion, and it does feel right like this is just a sharper unit that responded very well in practice this week after 2 losses last weekend.
Absolutely. UNC spent so much time on that serve receive, and it's showing out there. The passing has been on point in this second set, and it's a large part of the reason Tar Heels are hitting .317 right now for this match.
I got him at 1 serve receive error. That's it for the match.
Really figured out a little bit of shakiness serve receive in that first set. Coastal Carolina serving tough, and that was part of the game plan because the Chanticleers realized we've got to get UNC out of system to have success. But UNC's worked through those issues in the second set, and now rolling.
Babick with some fine work as well. The 23 assists. And we're not yet done with this second set, so she's way above her average as she has taken the reins of the offense this weekend once again. Merkler, good reflexes that time. Babick feeling it now.
Babick, second time we've seen her swing, and again, she's a lefty too, so she's your primary setter. As UNC back in this 5-1 offense, but surprising the defense. Great block by Merkler, keeping that ball alive, and then off the pass from Shaftmaster through the double block.
Yeah, so that's now consecutive assists for the all-conference outside hitter. North Carolina handles that one. Barrett to Shaftmaster. That's down, and this run continues. It's a 6-0 run.
Shaftmaster's development of those off-speed shots has really been the next elevation in her game this year, going to the throw tip through the block.
It's almost being able to improvise as well when you're facing the heavy block. Big swing, rejected. Coastal, they need an answer here. And it seems like UNC has just had a response to everything here. However, the violation does end the 6-0 run.
Coastal clearly in transition, trying to go and reestablish their middles to open things up for the pin hitters of Malone and Reve. But UNC's done a great job with their block, really snuffing that out.
Malone takes a seat. 12th and final non-conference match for Coastal. Now half of their slate against power conference teams, so they've been challenged. Right to Reve. Maybe Foster here, yup. And there's another kill.
Foster, one-on-one block from the back row. You're already having such a big approach and power, so hard to stop that ball. Having so much success with that back row attack today.
Kelly, timeout taken by Coastal with UNC on a 7-1 run, and it's definitely starting to get away from one of the Sun Belt's best in this set. You know, we were saying before the start of this match, it feels like UNC is a team, a caliber team that could be top half in a very difficult conference. It seems like year after year, the ACC gets more and more challenging, and this is where they showed up in the preseason coaches poll.
In a loaded top half of the ACC, because keep in mind, Duke, much improved. Georgia Tech, now ranked. They've been rolling. Florida State took Florida to 5 sets, and they've shown flashes of maybe being a top 25 team. And then, of course, Pitt and Louisville, always top-tier caliber programs.
We asked Mike a couple of days ago, what'd you think of that Louisville win a couple of nights ago against Kentucky? So Louisville's 9-0. They've only dropped 3 sets. He goes, boy, they look good.
They look really good. And they're the top serving team in the ACC as well.
So UNC looking to take the 2-0 advantage. It's an excellent day of volleyball. Maybe this is the appetizer for it. We've got 2 big ones. One of them featuring the aforementioned Cardinals. Louisville-Stanford top 5 battle. That's going to get going in a couple of minutes on ESPN2. You've got the big one, the showstopper today, Wisconsin, Florida.
ESPN.
Goodness gracious. Courtney Lyle, Holly McPeak have that one for you. That is 1 against 3. And you saw Florida. They look good. It's an excellent slate.
Really good. We're always traditionally a great blocking team, but their defense this year has been superb. And they've got a really talented freshman, Kennedy Martin, and Kira Hudson, another freshman that's making a big impact.
Oh, Coastal, Babbitt looked like she might have tripped over the foot of one of her teammates. So Coastal now has back-to-back.
It's really the only thing that's gone wrong for UNC in the second set right now.
Oh, they're hitting 520 this set. They have neutralized Coastal's top hitters, and Schaffmaster continues to roll 9 kills.
Schaffmaster, you have to get a double block up against her, passing that ball and then feasting on the giant hole because that block had not closed.
She's averaging about 3.5 kills a set. She's got 9 over the first 2 sets, maybe more. Leshak. That one was tipped. May to Thurman, and she's blocked. Coastal with the denial that time.
I'm impressed. Revee's blocking. She has so many great aspects of her game. Excellent passer on serve receive, but she's turned back a couple of Romani Thurman shots today. And again, she's only 5'11".
This has been her breakout career season.
No doubt.
Yeah, what is likely her last, the 5th-year senior from Montreal. There's an ace.
Nice job, Bengi serving Schaffmaster again, but really onto those end line or the edge lines of the court.
Bengi, one of the 2 Turkish players on the team. Net touch, yes, so violation. And Coastal all of a sudden is within 3.
Keep in mind, Anita Babbitt, she's in the back row, so she can't go up across the plane of the net.
Back set, Thurman, big swing. Oh, Foster, excellent reflexes to keep it off the floor. Bengi wants Reve, and she's got a kill. 2-point set.
Nice job, Reve, really doing a little bit of everything these last few points on the block, and then bringing the cannon of an arm, able to find the seam between Maddie May and Schaffmaster back row.
Timeout, North Carolina, with Coastal in the midst of a 4-0 scoring run.
This is the resiliency of Coastal Carolina, just the epitome of their season, the way they've been able to come back in the second set, cut it to a 2-point deficit.
They almost got Duke in the second set on Friday.
This team has a lot of fight in it.
A reminder, Thursday, right here on the ACC Network, women's soccer doubleheader. It's number 8 Clemson in Coral Gables to take on Miami, and then Pittsburgh and Louisville, the second of the doubleheader at 8 Eastern, right here on the ACC Network, and again streaming live on the ESPN app. A busy weekend around Chapel Hill, little Sunday afternoon volleyball to part of the slate that closes it out here today. This team, they won on Friday, beat Santa Clara. Football team won yesterday.
Been a good weekend, Chapel Hill.
A lot to celebrate over at top of the hill. Franklin Street.
Nice tune-up, too, for ACC play.
I'm sorry?
It's a nice tune-up here today for ACC play.
Well, this is the last one for North Carolina. They open up conference play in 5 days. Coastal will do the same. So this is their final non-conference tune-up. 2-point set. Big block, and it lands in.
The blocks come back alive for Coastal Carolina. The freshman Jalen Stout, nice job taking up a lot of space, really stealing those hands and able to turn them back inward to deny Foster.
5-0 run. They keep serving at Schaffmaster. Foster, they handle that big swing that time, and that was just an errant pass that kills the run.
Great job, though, by Bengi at the service line. Tough serving, got UNC out of system, allowed her block to really put up a big, massive front.
They've never been able to take a lead and establish one yet in this set. Coastal, that is. There's free ball chance for Romani Thurman. Rises. That one winds up just wide, and we've got a set point coming up for the Tar Heels.
I love the way the freshman, number 23, Romani Thurman, swings absolutely fearlessly. She brings some major power.
Point North Carolina, and it's 2-0 after the error, and they take it 25-21 here in the second set.
Nice job, UNC, closing it out strong. Tough serve.
In his first season as the head man, named the head coach, the successor to Joe Segula back on February 15th. We begin with a North Carolina point.
And the block was there against Schaffmaster. She is so used to facing a double block all the time. It's something that UNC coaches work with her all the time on practice. How do I need to attack this? What shot do I need to go to?
Schaffmaster's got the family in town this weekend. Wendy and Patrick, her parents, are here. Foster. Another block, and Coastal knots things up.
Coastal Carolina's block, this has been one of the bright spots for them. 8 blocks coming into this third set, and they've been very active at the net. UNC has been able to scramble out of those blocks sometimes and turn it into transition opportunities, but not that time.
So that's 4 blocks a set. That's double their season average. Merkler, she's rejected.
Nice job, one-on-one block, and Unal winning that battle at the net with Merkler. Great vision and timing on her part to read that set from Babic, sticking with her.
Unal has the height advantage. She's about 6'4", Merkler an inch shorter. Make it 3 in a row here.
Some great reads by this front row blocking of Coastal Carolina. UNC, they have to make sure they're not being predictable with their offense in that front row.
Unal, the transfer from Oregon State, Kelly, has 8 blocks on her own. Oh, wow, Merkler with a hammer.
Sydney Lewis got all of that. Taking high heat, or trying to. Merkler coming with some major force on that quick. It's one of those things, Sydney Lewis, you're trying to dig it, but
look out.
Yeah.
North Carolina with the service ace that time. That's the second of the afternoon. There's Maddie May, the sophomore from Winterville, North Carolina. Second-year starter at libero. Foster, yes.
Nice adjustment by Foster, able to find that outside hand of Unal and that block. A little bit of gap ever so slightly between those two blockers.
Stout to Reve, that's wide.
A big time approach, a little bit too much power on that ball. He's trying to go inside that block.
Coastal trying to steady some things. That's now a 5-0 North Carolina run.
Really great recognition from Thurman and Swift on that block. Really tight ball on that first ball contact to the net, and all Coastal Carolina could do, go to that outside to rescue it.
Lays Shack a little long. And so North Carolina right now, it feels like in all phases, is just a little sharper. They have certainly bounced back in a really big way this weekend after the 2 losses in Michigan a week ago. The big run forces a Coastal timeout with UNC ahead by 4 in the 3rd set.
Check this out.
Discover family favorites in a blockbuster September on Disney+.
4 right here on the ACC Network with Kelly Burke, Kevin Fitzgerald with you in Chapel Hill to get things rolling today. North Carolina is aiming for a 2-0 weekend.
We're going to have a challenge. First one of this match. Foster was adamant that she got a touch on that block.
This is the first time we have seen the laminated green card
Come
pulled.
out.
Mike Scholl went to it very quickly.
He did, and that's exactly because Foster was so definitive that she had gotten a touch on that block. She threw it down that line on the tip.
So for the
officials looking whether, again, on the block, did any finger on the Coastal Carolina blockers potentially touch that ball? It could literally even be a fingernail grazing the ball, and it counts as a touch.
And these are always interesting when you slow it down right there.
Hard to tell from that angle, so you're really looking for, did any part of the finger of Leshak bend backwards? And keep in mind, the officials have different angles, some more than we have.
Should be a really good one right there. So up close.
I don't necessarily see a finger touching back, but it could have been a thumb, inside thumb potentially.
In the other replay, you're right. We saw Foster immediately point to signal
And
that's a touch.
Again, she's above that block, so she would be able to see it. So she was adamant that the key here is officials. They have some extra angles sometimes beyond what we have, not what you're seeing at home. But the evidence, you have to have undisputable evidence to overturn it.
And based on the looks that we saw, I don't know if we saw that. As you pointed out, Patricia Salvatore, who's at the monitor, likely, more often than not, the officials do have additional looks.
And they have the ability to even slow the play down frame by frame. So that certainly helps. It's potentially the best angle we have.
I don't think we see the finger bent back at any point in any of these frames, and that's usually what the official is looking for.
And generally, too, the longer the challenge drags on, the more unsure that the official is.
Well, and it means bad news for North Carolina, right?
But if you're Mike Scholl, you're in set 3. You haven't used a challenge card yet. You have nothing to lose. You have your player who was right in the play saying that there was a touch. And a lot of times the head coaches go off of what the player saw.
Yeah. This is right on the heels of a timeout. So it doesn't necessarily halt momentum one way or the other. This would be a big one for Coastal because UNC went into our prior timeout on a 5-0 run. Mike Scholl, the Pennsylvania man, remember he was two-time captain at Penn State. He led the Nittany Lions to 3, not 1, not 2, 3 Final Fours. Finally getting his first head coaching opportunity, named the Joe Segula successor. He was the understudy the last 5 years as an assistant. And the point remains with Coastal Carolina, but for Mike, the thrilling opportunity to go from assistant for many years, even as far back as back at Penn State. He was running the club program nearby here.
Keep in mind, too, Coach Scholl, he got out of college coaching for a period of time. He had a young family, and he had no intention of getting back into it unless it was for a program like UNC.
Yeah. So after 5 years as an assistant, he's the head man in charge, the boss. The block remains strong for Coastal Carolina. That's now 12.
Coastal Carolina doing a really nice job of reading Romani Thurman's shot. She loves to go cross court, so taking away that inside look, and Jasmine Reve just flexing those fingers over, turning them back in towards the court.
You've been impressed by her on the block.
I've been impressed with her all-around game.
Yeah.
She's been a great passer. The times she's targeted and serve receive. She doesn't necessarily have a weakness in her game.
She's averaging more than 4 kills a set, so today has certainly been a challenging one in terms of the kill total. But she has done everything else to help her team win and try to pick up a set. They remain down by a handful. Well, back to a 2-point set now as Stout shoved that one right into the block and down to the floor.
I love the moxiness of the freshman. She just attacks that ball, even with a little off-speed look, and she finds success.
Schaffmaster, another. That's now 10, make it 11 parted.
Schaffmaster, perfect placement on that big set and back row attack, able to just find the top of the fingertips on that double block. You can see we haven't seen that back row attack in a while.
Maddie May up to Schaffmaster this time. Took a little off that one. Lewis to the back row. Great dig. May on the floor, sprawling to keep it in the air. Foster handles it in the back row. And there's the all-ACC weapon with another.
Schaffmaster, such a deep toolbox of shots. Finds hands so well. Look at this, up by Maddie May, keeping that ball in play. And then Schaffmaster finds hands so well, hits with so much power, so hard as a defender to be able to stop her.
The errors have been minimized this weekend for UNC all around.
And it has all started really with the defense and the serve receive.
Their losses to UC Davis in an opening weekend tournament in Tucson, Arizona, and then twice last weekend, but on the road at Michigan and at Michigan State. Maybe its most thrilling win of the year for North Carolina was the 5-setter against Arizona in Tucson, opening weekend. That was a big one. But they're just trying to keep building the momentum and the confidence before conference play starts in a couple of days.
Coach Shaw has a really nice perspective about it too. Just we're a work in progress. We've had some shuffling of lineups at times because of illness. Babick was out the second weekend of play, so all of a sudden you went from a 5-1 offense into a 6-2 to account for her absence.
They brought 4 starters back from a 17-win team last year, top half finish in the league, but you know, they lost some key personnel like Liv Mogridge, who transferred to Georgia Tech. Some other seniors and veterans that graduated as well. So you're right, one day at a time approach.
Keep in mind, UNC, top 15 recruiting class though. These 4 freshmen that came in, very heralded. Expect to be really the future of this program, make big contributions.
Three-point set after the Stout kill.
Starting to see Jalen Stout, the freshman, really come alive. Both pins, we've seen her find success swinging from the left and the right side.
Stout misfires wide. And you mentioned that recruiting class. Yeah, there's Susan Clements, one of the assistants, the first-year assistant coach back in her old place of work.
Recruiting coordinator here at UNC the last 5 years, so largely responsible for this freshman class the Tar Heels have. And we've seen the contribution. Zoe Barron's seen quite a bit of playing time this season. Obviously, Romani Thurman on that right side, and then Cindy Nolan rolled out in the middle here the last 2 matches.
Merkler hammers away at that one.
Just great front row awareness by Merkler. When you have Babick back there who's had success today at the service line, you're going to see an overpass opportunity to point score.
North Carolina led by as many as 7 in the second set. The lead for a moment was just 6 there after the service error, or before the service error. And UNC, boy, I don't think it's even trailed at any point in this match, save for maybe the first point or two in any set. So they have just kept Coastal at arm's length for essentially the entirety of this one. Foster, look out.
Line judge is really, this is a couple times now that he's had to dive out of the way.
Here it comes.
Here comes the power. Woo! Back corner, look out.
They stuck the landing, though. We got the signal that it was down. Well done. Reve tools it off the block nicely.
Reve, smart shot making, rolls it into that block. You expect her to come with a whole lot of heat. Fooling that block, able to go just off the top of the fingertips.
7 kills for the Montreal native. And Reve with another.
Yeah. Reve's just doing everything right now for this Coastal Carolina squad. Off the overpass, just waiting, feasting. Easy point.
She's another great example of the recruiting, the international recruiting that Joseph Foreman did and had done over the course of his 12-year head coaching career at Coastal. Of course, he just resigned on Monday. Some family issues in his home country in Hungary.
Keep in mind, Coastal Carolina, 8 foreign players, and what you see from the foreign players, they just have a really great all-around game. From a young age, they put a real heavy emphasis on developing them with the intangibles.
That's got to be Reve's most impressive kill today, or at least the loudest. So she spends 2 years at formerly Ryerson. It's now called Toronto Metropolitan University, which is a big-time athletics program in Canada. It's one of the more notable programs. It kind of is the UNC above the border.
And keep in mind, she was with Team Canada this summer too, playing in the Pan Am Games, so she was late to come to the preseason.
Swift with the kill.
Great job, Swift, on that 31 gap set. Perfectly placed, and as a middle, you're typically only getting a one-on-one block, so it's a high percentage look when you're able to establish that middle.
Swift, sophomore from Austin, has taken a really nice step forward. Coaches lauded just her maybe trust in her own work ethic, trusted the process, knew as a second year she was going to get more opportunities. Another handled by Lewis. Back set to Reve. Bengi up to Stout, who wants it. Let's see if Bengi can put one on target. Nice rally. Coastal, no, that one was touched.
Swift, she works so hard in transition to make herself available, moving laterally up and down the net as a blocker, and then making herself available in transition offensively.
North Carolina inching closer to a 3-set sweep. Unal blocked. Nobody home. 19-12, largest lead for UNC of any set today.
Sadie Swift touching everything right now and blocking an area that she's really worked to improve as she's gotten more playing time. Came in to Coach Mike Shaw this spring, and he said she was a totally different player. She just decided that she wants to be good and came in with a whole lot more confidence in herself and belief in herself.
It's that natural development that you know you're going to get here at North Carolina. Kelly, we keep talking about how conference play, it's around the corner. There it is, the ACC opener for UNC.
Look at this schedule, though.
Virginia,
You got Pitt pretty quickly, top 10 team. Really good defensively. Florida State, who's just sort of hovering outside the top 25 right now. Miami picked 3rd in the conference, and then Louisville, always a national title contender.
Well, and in the national championship game a year ago, which is striking
and Pitt
to think.
In the Final Four.
Yeah, it's striking to think Louisville's appearance in the title game a year ago, a first for an ACC team to appear in that national championship game, and you're right. One's great, 2 is better, and so Louisville and Pitt in consecutive years have each reached the national semifinal. I mean, that anchors your schedule.
Knocking right on the door.
Yeah.
speaks to the strength of the ACC.
Louisville unbeaten, and remember that they just got started about a half hour ago, maybe 20 minutes ago against Stanford. Louisville-Stanford, huge match at 1 Eastern.
Stanford coming off a loss to Nebraska earlier this week on their home floor.
Yeah. Nebraska looked really good.
Really good. They're so good defensively. They're young, but really talented.
And they won that on the road in 4 sets. What sort of rally do the Chanticleers have, if any? Maddie May slides down to a knee to keep it alive. Schaffmaster, that one's handled by Bengi. Stout into the block, but it is too strong. Babick and Swift knock it down.
North Carolina's block has really come alive in this third set. Sadie Swift has been a huge part of that. And Babick with a great job turning her hands back inward to deny the freshman Jalen Stout.
Babick coming into this match with only 7 kills and 4 blocks. And she's got 4 kills today and several blocks. Yeah, two denials as well.
Taking advantage of the opportunities she gets.
We saw a couple Schaffmaster assists to Babick. The role reversal.
Yeah, what a combination.
For the unusual kill.
Opposing coach scouting that, you're like, wait, what just happened here?
Yeah, this is what we saw on tape. By the way, speaking of the film watch, you mentioned Coastal playing its 3rd match this week, so that certainly needs to be factored in when you think about their performance. Wow, there's Sadie Swift.
Sadie Swift coming with the absolute thump on the slide play, generating so much power off of 1 foot, one-on-one block, and just tees off on Lauren Malone.
She's got 8. That's second only to Schaffmaster, who's got the dozen.
I like the competition that's developed in the middle for this UNC squad between Sydney Nolan, Sadie Swift, and Kaya Markle. Got some options.
Swift again. Bengi saves it. Even right there, that swing just gives North Carolina a free ball.
It's like a line drive coming at you.
Wow, Schaffmaster
I would
finds
love
a floor.
to get a radar gun on Schaffmaster's swing, her 13th kill of this outing. She just brings the heat.
Her swing is, it's offensive. Okay, look, it's heinous. I mean, goodness gracious.
Could burn some holes in the floor.
That's 13 kills now. For the 2-time all-conference selection. Remember, she won the Freshman of the Year award her first season in Chapel Hill, so she has been
First
at the
team
top.
All-ACC last year.
Well, and she's just been, to your point earlier today, at the top of the scouting report every match. She handles it very well. And yeah, it appears there's quite a bit of help around her this season. She gets another because that one was touched, and we have all of a sudden got a match point.
Just like that. Schaffmaster, too, her sister, Melanie, the setter on a very good Minnesota volleyball team. Those 2 best friends.
Stout, big swing, got it. Well, with what you think ultimately may play out here, it's got to feel good for Stout.
Hey, good to see Jalen Stout. She's been battling illness, working her way back in that recovery. Now, keep in mind, she's had a couple of 20-kill matches this season, early in her career. 2 triple-doubles. So the talent is there. It's just getting it to come back out, recovering from that illness.
Opening weekend as well, so the freshman announced herself with quite a bit of a wish in there. There's the match point, and it's, guess who? Mabry Schaffmaster, who finishes with 15 kills in this 3-set sweep.